Smell us now, lady.
Welcome to MeatEater Trivia.
MeatEater Podcast.
Welcome to the June 12th episode of MeatEater Radio Live. It's 11 a.m. Mountain Time here in Bozeman. That's 1 p.m. on the Outer Banks of North Carolina, where my family is currently enjoying vacation without me.
Ooh.
Yep, they're having fun on the beach. I'm your host, Brody Henderson. I'm joined today by Seth Morris and Cory Calkins. Today, it's almost Father's Day, man. So we're going to share some hunting stories about our dads. That'll be fun. We're going to talk to fishing guide Josh Miller, who we tried to get on the show a couple weeks ago, I think, about his first mate, Ryder Rider, the turkey. I don't know what that turkey's name is. We'll figure that part out.
Find out.
And since we're running the voting right now for our 2026 Fucked Up Old Hunting Trucks calendar, we're going to talk about some bad situations we've gotten into in our hunting trucks. And on top of that, we're going to interview an actual four-wheel drive truck driving expert, someone who teaches people how to drive four-wheel drive trucks. I'm not sure what his credentials are, but he's a good guy. So we'll figure that part out too. Yeah, that's what we've got for you. It should be a good show. What's up? How's it going, fellers?
Oh, going good.
Yeah, going good.
Yeah.
What have you been up to?
I just got back from interior Alaska on a bear hunt with Steve.
A lot of bear
Steve
hunting
and the
this
crew.
year, man.
A lot of bear hunting, yeah.
Jeez.
That's my second Alaska bear hunt of the year.
Oh, that's right.
one in
You did a
Southeast
personal
and-
funsy hunt.
Yeah, one in Southeast and one in interior.
Much different style of hunting for those.
Two different planets basically.
Yep.
But yeah, it was good.
Cool.
Yeah, watched some bears die and saw some beautiful country.
Sweet.
See any other critters up there?
Yeah, saw wolves, grizzly bears, caribou, moose, Dall sheep,
Wow.
a porcupine, a marmot, and I think that's it.
Man,
Yeah.
that's
Nice.
fun.
It was
Corey,
pretty
what have you
cool.
been doing? Working?
Man, yeah, lots of work, and I've been fly fishing a lot more this year. I was
The old fly rod.
Well, I was a guide for 15 years, and when I retired from guiding and started this job, I didn't really want to do it anymore.
Dude,
I kind of lost the drive.
Same thing happened to me after 18, 20 years of guiding. I just lost the drive to go fish on my own.
Yeah.
That's what everyone says. I think same thing happened with the Honest too.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
maybe. But
Yeah.
it's back, man. This year I've been fishing quite a bit.
Cool.
Fishing's good right now at the moment. It seems like it's going to dry up come late summer, but fish it now and going out meeting up with my old man this weekend, go fish the Missouri. So looking
Nice
forward to that.
with everyone else in the state of Montana.
Yeah, hopefully they're going somewhere else. It'll be what it'll be.
I don't know, dude. That river's always busy, but there's so many trout it doesn't matter.
Exactly. And you just kind of, if everybody's fishing the right bank, fish the left bank.
Or the middle.
Well, wherever the fish are biting. Yeah, there's a lot of fish per mile in there. So how about
Cool.
you?
Oh man, gardening. My family's out of town. You know, like when your family goes out of town, you're like, oh God, it's going to be great. I'm going to have this house to myself. It's going to be quiet. I'll get stuff done. But then they leave and you're like, God, I miss them. I'm bored.
Yeah.
I'm getting some stuff done, but I do miss them. We'll start hitting the fishing hard after the boys get back here this weekend.
Nice.
Yeah. Phil, we got old Danny Bolton on the line.
Danny's on standby, yes.
Well, let's jump right in to our first guest, Danny Bolton. You guys probably seen him on the MeatEater television show. He's done some stuff with Cal, too. He's been a friend of MeatEater for several years. If you don't know him, Danny hails from Hawaii. He spends a lot of his time shooting arrows into feral pigs and sheep, and he spends a lot of time hauling tuna and wahoo into the boat. But we've got him on the show today to talk about his job training folks how to drive four-wheel drive rigs, and we're going to pick his brain about what not to do when you're off-roading your truck around, especially during hunting season. So we got him up here. There he is. Danny. How's it going, man?
It's good. How are you guys?
Great. What have you been up to lately?
Did a little storm chasing just recently. Flew out to Kansas, drove all over the country. Well, not all over the country, but all over like through storm zones, and actually got to see my first tornado.
Oh, nice.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, you don't get too many of those in Hawaii, huh?
No, definitely don't get too many. I seen like one little baby water spout one time, but not a full tornado.
Nice. Did you have a special truck, like one of those big storm chasing trucks you were using for that?
Yeah,
or?
dude, you wouldn't believe it. My friend Ricky is like that they live for it, and he's got this big old orange truck, all the lights, underglow, all the like pretty much typical storm chasing thing, all kinds of antennas coming off of it. So got to do that with him, which was super fun. And then dude, it's just like the movies. Like pull up to a gas station, there's like 30 other storm chasers all amping for this storm coming in, and some crazy rigs. Like talk about messed up old trucks, dude. There was some crazy stuff there with like all kinds of like metal welded to it, and just like Mad Max stuff.
Yeah,
funny.
That's cool.
Okay, Danny, like we've done some 4-wheel drive stuff with you in the past, a little bit anyway, but give us a quick rundown of like your driving instruction job and how you got into it.
Yeah, I'll just give you a quick rundown, I guess. I just grew up just off-road all the time. Started probably on quads and dirt bikes, and then just always had kind of beat up old trucks that we could ramble around in. And even before I had my driver's license. And then I have 2 older cousins that I rode dirt bikes with, and they had enough money and had jobs, so they were like building trucks. So then started building trucks, and that got us into off-road racing when I moved out of Hawaii after high school. Started racing desert stuff, and that's kind of what got me into like the major side of off-road and off-road racing. And then my friend does all the training, so I've actually partnered with him now, and we're in business together to train a bunch of people, mainly military. So train mainly military to basically how to drive off-road, and then if the thing breaks, how to fix it. If you get stuck, how to get unstuck. All the little things that you find out there in the desert or wherever you are, what's going to break. It's similar to what would break when you're hunting.
Yeah,
and just how to fix it, just all those little secrets,
Right. I would imagine, based on my own experience, getting stuck and whatnot, that one of the biggest mistakes people make when they're driving around in rough country is just like not turning around when they should, like not recognizing like stopping is the best thing to do, and then you'll just avoid getting yourself in a real bad situation. But what are like some of the most common mistakes people make when they're driving in bad conditions, like washed out roads, snow, mud, whatever it might be?
Yeah, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. Is just like your brain, right? Like be real self-aware of where you're at. And I've gone down stuff that I couldn't get back up, and it ended up being a dead end, and it was a mission to get. We did get back up, but like just knowing your situation, knowing your gear. And I would say the most common things, and most people can probably relate to this, is most likely flat tires and then just getting stuck. I would say, out of all the crazy fixes that I've done out in the field, broken axles, changed transmission, all these crazy things, getting stuck and just flat tires are probably the 2 most common things. And you need to be able to fix your vehicle or get it unstuck. So, just having a shovel and then checking your equipment before you go, checking your spare tire, make sure it has air in it, make sure it's the correct spare. I've had a truck where I got a flat and we pulled out the spare and it was the wrong lug nut pattern. So make sure your jack is working, make sure you got
we're going to talk
the
about
wrenches.
that picture in a minute.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what are the things you like have to have in your truck when you're like anytime you're going to be leaving the pavement? Like what's on your list of stuff everyone should have in their truck?
Yeah, to keep it real simple without sending people way down the rabbit hole, but I would have make sure your jack is working. Most cars and trucks come with a jack stock, so that's fine. Just make sure you have your jack. and all the little pieces you need to use your jack, and then also your spare tire. Make sure you have a spare tire and a lug nut wrench, and then all the little pieces you need to get your spare down to. Usually it's the same thing that you use for your jack. And then I would say a shovel. If you're going off-road, like to go camp or go hunt or something, just bring a shovel, and then a little tow rope, like a tow strap, would be amazing. But to keep it very simple, I would say out of those things, you can get yourself out of a lot of trouble.
Yeah. What about those, those plastic things you lay down on the ground, a traction board? Do you use those at all?
Very rarely. They come in handy, and if you're planning on getting stuck a lot, they're cool to have. But honestly, like if you're trying to keep it simple, you don't really need it. So those are most likely like you get stuck and you're in some mud or you're in some sand, and you do that traction board, you kind of stick it in the front or back your tire, depending on which way you're trying to go.
In the office.
And you roll up on it.
Oh, we're back.
Oh, there he is. He's back.
Oh,
we lost you there for like little less than a minute. So I don't know if you.
So I would say just you don't need them. You can find other stuff to throw down in that hole, rocks, sagebrush, whatever.
Yep.
I don't really carry them on my rig.
So what you're telling me is I'm wasting my money on mine.
No, definitely. if you have them, and when it comes time to use them, you're gonna love them.
Yeah, for sure. I've used them a couple times.
You're supposed to have them like on top of your truck.
Well, you gotta look cool. Yeah.
Never
you get
use
bright
them.
orange ones so
Right.
everyone can see them.
That's the thing.
How about like towing campers or 4-wheeler trailers? Anything like? Any tips there, or just like anything
Towing
people
stuff
should
in?
know? Yeah.
I'd say the two things about towing stuff in is just know what you're towing and like where it is, because you don't want to get that thing twisted up or stuck. And then you're also pulling a lot more weight. So if you're going up super technical stuff, you're putting more stress on all your equipment on your truck because you're pulling this extra weight. And I have seen axles snap and drive shafts and U-joints and stuff go out. So just know, since you're pulling that extra weight, you just kind of got to account for it. And then obviously backing it up, like you want to get it, you don't want to get in a spot where you're having to back up for a mile, and especially if it's a small trailer, the thing's like twisting around on you.
Earlier we showed a picture of you hauling those moose out from a couple years ago. Is that like the kind of the hairiest 4-wheel driving experience you've ever been in?
Definitely not. I mean,
oh, geez.
Looks pretty gnarly.
Yeah, I mean, we never even flipped it over on that one. Like it never even ended up upside down. But that was a long one, and it just the weight of the situation with having, all that meat and trying to get out. Like we went in the first part of the season, and then when we shot those moose was the last day of the season. So I remember when we were broken down, and this trip was crazy. We ended up shooting 2 mises, bulls. And bulls. We shot 2 bulls, and so we had to get all this meat out, and we ended up breaking the belts on those are kind of known to go, and we had already gone through our spare. We brought a spare and had already gone through it, and then we had a stick go through the radiator, and we had to totally fix that whole situation. So crimp that all down and get that all fixed. But while we were fixing that, there was a river nearby, and I remember watching the last jet boat basically go down the river, because there's no reason to be back there unless you're moose hunting. And it was the last day of the season. And I remember watching that last boat go by and like knowing that was probably our last person that was going to be out there. And if we couldn't get that thing fixed, we were 9 miles at that point from the road. So hiking like all that meat to the road was going to be almost impossible. So we had to get that thing fixed. And yeah, it was an amazing trip. We ended up getting the thing fixed and getting out, and took a while though. It took us 4 days. Missed my flight. So
whoa.
Yeah, that's all right. You got a couple of giant bulls. It's okay.
Dang.
All right,
Yeah.
one last question, Danny. What would your kind of ideal 4-wheel drive hunting rig like? What would it be, and how would you have it set up? Like, would you have a topper on there, a camper? Like, just kind of give us a rundown of what your rig would look like.
Yeah, no problem. Basically, I probably have a mid-size truck. Full size gets a little big to where you're having trouble making tight corners and stuff and
Maneuvering.
like bottom out. So like a Tacoma, Ford Ranger, something more in the mid-size range. And then I can just tell you what I have, like in the mainland. Like I have a Toyota Tacoma, and then I have a deck system in the back, stores everything, lock it up, and then I have a Go Fast camper on top, which is like just a camper that has a tent on top of it. You don't necessarily need the tent on top of it. You could just tent camp, which is fine, but having some way to enclose the back so that you don't have to worry about rain and mud and all that stuff would be amazing. And then honestly, a stock rig nowadays is pretty awesome. Like if you can fit like 32, 33 inch tires in some of the new stock trucks, you can fit 33s on. Just having bigger tires, because all these lifts and all this stuff, well, you're putting all that stuff on so that you can put bigger tires on so that your fenders don't rub and your suspension kind of move. But the bigger tires is what's giving you more ground clearance. And that's kind of what you're shooting for. And you can't really beat stock suspension. Like the amount of money that manufacturers put into their geometry is huge compared to aftermarket stuff. So just a stock mid-size truck with a little bit bigger tires, probably some, like I have BF Goodrich all-terrains. And if you're just going to be in a muddy stuff, so like mud terrain's a little bit better for that, but I have all-terrains. And then that's basically it. And I got a shovel in there, I got a jack, I got all my tools. Bring tools, make sure you have all the right tools that you need. I got tow straps, and I got a winch on it, so it's got rear bumper, front bumper. The rear bumper is cool because you can pull harder on it, and if you drag something, it's not as big, you're not tearing up your stock bumper. But the front bumper holds the winch, which I can get myself out of a lot of situations, and I don't need another rig there. And that's basically it. It's fairly simple, but I definitely have everything I need to get myself out.
Cool. Well, it was great talking to Danny. Hopefully we'll see you here in a couple weeks in Montana.
Yeah, definitely. I miss you guys, and it's good to see you.
Yep. Good to see you too.
to see you,
Thanks a
Danny.
lot, man.
Thanks, Danny.
Hey, boys. Yeah.
Later.
All right. Are we doing more truck stuff here in this next segment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep it trucks.
Throwback Thursday. Phil.
Throwback on a Thursday morn. Steve and Brody take me back to 1974. Throwback, I can't believe it. Did I mention Steve and Brody are old as shit?
I like when I can play that.
That's my
when
favorite one,
when you're
Phil.
hosting.
Phil, who
glad.
broke this mic, man? It's
Well,
never right.
Spencer and Randall love to fidget with it when they're in the seat. So it was probably one of them.
Yeah.
If I had to throw anyone under the bus here,
Great.
Good call.
I apologize.
All right, Throwback Thursday, fellas. We're looking back today at some close your ears, kids. We're gonna look back today at some fucked up situations we've been in our hunting trucks. So, Seth, you're up first.
Cool.
Bringing it up here, Seth. One sec.
Take your time, Phil. Here we go.
Oh, boy.
This was south of the border in Mexico 2-3 years ago. Hunted all week long, no rain, and then the day before we leave, it just lets loose and pours, which it doesn't. Oftentimes it doesn't rain like that down there. We had like a crappy rental vehicle, and then one of the guys we were with, Matt Cook, he drove a truck down hauling a couple side-by-sides. And this ranch we were on had a pretty crappy road going into it. And, of course, it rains, and we had to get up early that next morning to get back across the border to catch a flight to fly back to Montana. Well, on our way out, it's still dark out, as you can see. We get everything stuck. And the truck gets stuck. The rental vehicle gets stuck. So Matt's truck has 2 side-by-sides. He's as stuck as he could be. And we're in a spot where there's like no way you could turn around, or like off to our left, it was a steep drop off. So if he was to go off that, he would just roll. To our right was a steep bank. There's just like, and we were on a turn too. So there's like not a whole lot you could do. We couldn't get a vehicle past it to try and pull it. It was a disaster. So our first thing we did was we needed to get some weight off the trailer. So we pulled the side-by-sides off. And in the process of doing that, Jason Phelps was with us. He hops in one, and as he's driving it off the trailer, I don't know what the hell happened, but he ends up on the side. He rolls the thing.
So like down off the bank?
No, so he was like
He's
back,
in the road.
He was
Wow.
He was backing it off the trailer, and like I don't know if he hit the throttle a little too hard, but like hit the bank on the right side that's super steep.
Yep.
And just kind of went right, like backed up it and just flipped it right over.
Jeez Louise.
So now we got two stuck vehicles and a rolled over side by side in the middle of the road.
That's when you want to just go to bed.
Yeah.
All the day.
Yeah. Like, let's try this again tomorrow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's another photo there, Phil. Yeah, there's you can see Jason in the cab of the side by side.
Oh no.
Standing up. But yeah, it was just a kind of a shit show of a morning. We finally got everything, we rolled that back over, and then I think we might have, I don't remember, we might have somehow gotten a side by side around the truck and pulled it out with that. I don't remember exactly. We ended up getting out of the situation and made it back to America.
You're here,
safely.
obviously.
We're here. Yeah.
Yeah, look at the grease on those tires.
Oh, it was almost like gumbo mud
Really?
up here in Montana.
Just sticky.
Yeah, sticky, slimy mud.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, that's my story of getting a truck stuck, flipping a side by side.
Wow.
Who wants to go next?
Oh,
Corey?
Top
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, no problem. No, that sounds really scary. Let's see. I used to own a 2001 Toyota Tacoma. It was by far my favorite truck I'll ever own, probably. But when I started guiding fly fishermen, it wasn't quite big enough. So I upgraded to a Tundra, which I'll one day go back to the Tacoma. But there's a photo of it right there. 2001 Tacoma. They don't make them like that anymore. And then when I upgraded to the Tundra, I sold that truck to my elk hunting outfitter, with the agreement that that was going to be my guide rig. So for a couple years, I got to guide out of my old truck, which was great. And one day, second week of rifle season here in Montana, my client and I went up onto these 2 mounds. I drove up onto one of these mounds. We called them the boobs, just these 2 mountains that stick up out of the middle of nowhere. They're very obvious. You can see them from miles away. We called them the boobs. I parked the truck up on one of them at like 3 p.m. Sunsets at like 7 p.m. We're just going to wait there and commit to that spot, hoping some elk come out of the timber. And the truck being forest green, hopefully they wouldn't see us there. I swear I put it in first gear. Naturally, the parking brake was all messed up. I think there was mud stuck in the emergency brake, so that was just out of order. But I've had it in first gear. Stepped out of the truck, did some glassing. I look over, and my client was sleeping in the passenger seat. And saw 3 bulls come out of the timber, so I run over to the truck, and as I turn and look, the truck is just all of a sudden rolling down one of the boobs with my client Billy and just sitting in the passenger seat. I see him duck over to the side, and he was able to reach over and hit the brake, but without the key in it, the hydraulics locked up.
Yep.
So I'm not sure how it shifted out of gear, but it did, and it started rolling. I was able to run up, and for some reason I thought I could be Superman for a hot minute, and I tried stopping the truck. Instantly knew that wasn't going to work. Jumped out of the way, actually like dove and did a little roll out of the way. It was real theatrical. And I just watched the truck ghost roll with my client in the passenger seat down into a pile of trees. Luckily, like 10 degrees to the left, it would have went over a cliff.
Jeez, man.
Luckily, it went into some smaller evergreen trees. It was kind of like, it wasn't one big tree, which would have really messed everything up, including Billy. But it actually just messed up the radiator, bent the whole front end in, And we had to walk out that night because I couldn't get the truck out. There's a photo of it. It went into the trees, like just completely sandwiched, dominoed a bunch of small timber down. We went back the next day, and I was able to actually drive it out the next day after a little chainsaw work. But yeah, that was scary. I still don't know exactly what happened. My client, who had reached over to try and hit the brake, stayed down, and he bruised some ribs because he was right on the shifter. The gear shifter was right on his stomach, and when he impacted the trees, it bruised his ribs. That's all that happened, really.
Dang.
Obviously, the truck didn't matter at that point. But my outfitter actually fixed it up, put a new grill, new radiator, everything that it needed, which was a lot. Put a new front bumper on it, and we used it again for a couple more years. I think he sold it just a few years ago. Sadly, I couldn't afford to buy it back, but yeah, missed that truck. That was the greatest truck I'll ever own.
Corey out there trying to kill his hunting clients.
Well, shouldn't be sleeping on the job.
Yeah, I think you guys probably got me beat. Mine's kind of a standard getting stuck overnight story. But it was because of this buck right here, that whitetail buck. I was hunting up in northern Montana a couple of years ago, and the road, like there's like the main highway, but then all the roads up there, this is like big ag country. There's very few trees, not a whole lot of topography, like kind of rolling. But you guys know the roads up there, like they're public roads, most of them, but they're like these little 2-track, like unmaintained. They're not roads, right?
Yeah.
But so I was back in there a ways, and I killed this buck in the late afternoon, and I'd slept in the truck the night before, and I'd hunted the day before. It rained all day. Then overnight it snowed on top of that rain, and on the way to walk out and hunt in the morning, I'm like, this is bad. Like I need to kill an animal and get out of here before this stuff starts thawing out, because it was like a few inches of heavy wet snow, then a thin layer of ice, and then a layer of mud.
Yeah. Not a
it
good
wouldn't matter
combo.
what kind of tires you had on. And I didn't have change, which was probably a mistake. Anyway, I did what I shouldn't have done and stayed out there all day and shot this buck late afternoon. Everything had started melting. I get the buck back to the truck. It's dark, and I'm like, I'm going to go for it. And it's like a slight downhill incline right off the bat to get out of there. And I go 50 feet, and the truck just does that slow turn, and I'm going sideways down the road.
That's not a good feeling.
No. And slid 100 feet down the road. Now I'm kind of cockeye sideways, pointing back the other way. And there's just no getting off the road to turn around. I tried, believe me. And ended up, I just had to sleep in the truck again that night because I had to wait for stuff to freeze.
Yeah.
So let that be a lesson to you. Sometimes it's it was great I got that buck, but if I'd have been in a more remote or tougher location, who knows what would have happened. It's just I knew walking out that morning to go hunting, I'm like, I got to get out of here by mid-morning.
Yeah.
Before stuff starts to melt, and I didn't. So it's just what we talked about earlier, knowing your situation and not getting stuck somewhere because you made a poor decision. But I will say this. I have a Ford F-150, and I like that truck. You've got one, Seth.
Yep.
I learned a big lesson on that hunt about, Danny said, stock stuff is good. Well, I'll tell you what's not good about stock F-150s is they have what they call a skid. Maybe they've changed this since. Mine's a 2020. They have what they call a skid plate under there, but it's not metal. It's this weird, almost fabric paper mache material. And it's it'll keep a pebble out of there, a little bit of dirt, but it's not going to protect the important stuff up underneath or on top of that skid plate. And ripped right through that thing and poked a hole in the transmission fluid reservoir.
Oof,
which
that's
ended
not
up
good.
got a little ways, and then the truck just shit the bed.
Wow.
Did the transmission go out? Or
Not completely. Like I didn't lose the transmission, but there was some cost involved in getting it fixed. It
Yeah.
wasn't just plugging the hole and calling it good. But the first thing I did was put an aftermarket metal skid plate on that sucker.
dang.
Yeah.
I got to check mine now.
Yeah. Yours might already rotted and fallen off. Steve's fell right off.
It might be. God. Just another thing. Add to the list.
So now all the Ford haters going to be like, yeah, I knew that. You shouldn't have bought that truck. Let's see if we got any of that. We got any of that in the listener feedback, Phil?
Ooh.
We've got
Any Ford haters?
no, we've got no Ford discourse happening right now. We do have Randy saying that this is his favorite episode so far because he loves the shit show experiences.
Nice.
It's from Randy from Georgetown, Texas. Thanks, Randy.
Thanks, Randy.
Thanks, Randy.
But yeah, we can get some questions in here, whether they're about trucks or Father's Day or just comments. Let's move on to some listener feedback. Cody would like to know what the zoom is on those glasses.
On my glasses?
Brody.
Oh, it's light. It's like 1.5.
Okay.
I don't need a bunch yet.
Cool. Lance asks, Seth, have you ever gone walleye fishing in Canada? If so, where is the spot?
Ooh, yeah.
I have not gone walleye fishing in Canada. That's a bucket list trip. I want to do that eventually. But I feel like there's lots of spots.
Yeah.
A lot of water.
Like where I grew up, everyone used to go to Ontario.
Yep.
But like Giannis was just bear hunting in
Manitoba,
and
yeah.
they clobbered him there.
They clobbered them there.
Yeah.
I mean, Lake of the Woods is always
yeah.
notoriously good. Yeah, I think there's lots of options up there. Love to check it out someday.
Caleb, he asks, what is the best gift for a hunting dad? We've got two dads at the table. What would be a thing that you guys have received or would love to receive from your family?
Man, my wife hates buying me. It's like a standard thing, like, because I just buy the shit I want for myself, right? So it's always like, well, what do you want? I'm like, I don't need anything, and then what I need, I just go buy. So man, it's a tough one.
Yeah.
And it's like there's all kinds of different hunting dads. There might be like a duck hunting dad and a elk hunting dad.
Yeah.
It's a tough question to answer. Ask them what they want and then say, I'm getting this for you. Don't buy it for yourself. That'd be my advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good call.
Or don't buy them anything. Just do something that's like real thoughtful.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. I'd rather like hang out with my kids and my wife camping for a weekend than
Oh, totally.
get some
Yeah.
piece of gear.
Or
you
just
know?
say like, we're going camping this weekend, Dad. I'm going to get all the shit ready.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. That'd be
So-
the day. Greatest gift I ever got, though, was from my wife for Father's Day. We were able to drop the kid off with the grandparents, which was fun for Father's Day of all days. But we went fishing on the Missouri with a guide,
Oh,
which
nice.
was really fun.
No, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Guided fishing trip wherever you are. I'm sure that's an option.
Yeah, I mean, if you can afford it, like
Yeah.
find out what their bucket list trip is and get that for them.
Yep.
Favorite trolling lure and what are you targeting with it? It's from Matthias. I think he corrected me. I said Matthias last time because I know a French guy named Matthias, but it is Matthias.
Man,
You're down on trolling.
I'm
huh?
down on trolling.
But what's your favorite?
I don't troll much. When I do, it's like crankbaits and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we'll pull crankbaits. Like there's an old Lake Erie. I think it's a Lake Erie lure called the Wally Diver.
Oh yeah, yep.
That's a good walleye. I mean, anything will eat them. We pull what are those Berkeley flicker minnow?
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one that
Yep.
we do well with.
Chester likes that one a bunch.
Yep. So we do a little. We'll definitely like take a break and do some trolling for
Yeah, and
walleye.
then you can do some if you want to switch it up. Some bottom bouncers with like spinner rigs and
Yeah.
stuff.
You know what I've always wanted to do? You know when them big schools of coho get circling outside the creek? So
Oh
I've
yeah.
always wanted to try trolling through those
Yeah?
things to see what happens. I bet you.
I'm all about trying new things up there.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Let's see. Who is it? Jesse says he just got a 2006 Tacoma. It has no bells or whistles. What would be a couple of the first upgrades or attachments you'd put on for hunting?
Chains.
Tires, like depending on what it's got on there for tires, for sure.
Yeah, get you some good sidewall,
tires.
Good ply.
I'm a fan of toppers too.
So am I.
I like having a topper, keep my stuff dry. I can sleep in there.
Locked
Yep.
up.
You
Yeah.
can lock it up. Yeah.
Yeah, get you a topper.
Right on. And I thought this was a fun comment. We're not doing Throwback Thursday anymore, but Cody J, when we were talking to Danny, said that he drives and is a medic for tornado hunters, and that it's a blast. And he said he also knew one of the guys that Danny was hanging out with. And
Oh, nice.
when he was doing that. So anyway, small world. Out
Man,
there.
in a different life, I'd be a freaking storm chaser.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have at it, man.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, not interested, man. Like,
Yeah.
I think when I was in like 8th grade, I think it was 8th grade, we used to get tornado. I grew up in northwestern Pennsylvania, so it's not like the most tornado-y spot in the nation, but we would get tornado warnings. And in 8th grade, the next town over from us just got walloped by a tornado, and like
Yeah.
30 people died. So like,
Jeez.
I don't have any. I don't need that in my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. As a Montana kid, tornadoes freak me out. I'm going
Yeah.
the other way.
Yeah.
You
I
guys-
think they're cool, but I've never really had a bad experience with one. So
Yeah.
well, chase them up, see what happens.
Cool. We can call it right there, but we're doing this again at the end of the show. So please submit more questions, and we will field them in a few minutes.
All righty. So Father's Day and what is it? 3 days, something like that.
Yep. Sunday.
So in honor of that, we're each gonna share a picture and a story about hunting. You guys didn't do any fishing, just hunting, right?
I did fishing.
You did fishing,
Yep.
so hunting and fishing with our dads. We're just gonna honor our dads for getting us into hunting and fishing. So you up first, Seth?
Sure, I'll go. I got a bunch of photos of me and my old man up at the cabin in Alaska.
That was just last. Was that last year?
He's been coming up the last
Yeah.
3 years now, so I have a bunch of photos. But this is like, it's cool bringing my old man up to the cabin because like this is the first thing, like one of the first things in my life where instead of him teaching me something, I'm teaching him something new, which is pretty cool. And he's just like completely fell in love with like doing all the stuff up there, all the fishing and whatnot. So yeah, he comes up every summer now, and I put him to work. He's cheap labor. He does a lot of firewood splitting, and he can swing a hammer. But here's some salmon that we caught up there. But yeah, he comes up every summer now and helps out with the cabin. And yeah, it's just like he's, he grew up on the East Coast, and that whole world is like so new to him, and he's just getting to like see him just getting to watch him see new things that he's never seen before, and like catch fish that he's never caught before, and it's just super cool. And one funny thing, and bro, do you know how it is up there? Like when people first start fishing up there, it's like they just kind of don't remember how to fish almost.
Yep.
So here's him fighting a small halibut, which he thinks is a giant halibut, which is common. And yeah, just like trying to teach like the hook sets, or if you're running like circle hooks, not to set the hook. Yeah, it's just been a blast the last 3 years, getting to show my old man that part of the country and that type of fishing. So.
Yeah, I've hung out with him a bit up there, and he seems really love it, man.
Oh, he loves it. It's all he talks about.
Yeah. Corey, what are you doing down there?
Making sure our next guest is ready to roll. It looks like he just showed up, so we're pumped.
Doing some producing work at the same time he's hosting.
Oh, dude, yeah.
He can do it all.
Got a man of many hands.
All right, Corey.
Oh, my turn.
You're up.
Let's see. Man, I got a lot of great stories hunting and fishing with my dad growing up. He moved up to Montana back in the 70s to get away from the hustle and bustle of Nevada. Bought some horses and started hunting in the Bob Marshall. And that's kind of what helped drive my desire to want to do the same thing. Was able to guide back in there, kind of chase his dreams a little bit, which was super cool. But I owe a lot to him for getting me into outdoor recreation for sure. But this particular story was I believe in 2005. I was a junior in high school. My dad and I were in northwest Montana, archery elk hunting. I think it was September 21st. We had a bit of a snowstorm the day before, and we hunted together in the morning, didn't hear any bugles, which I feel like is pretty typical after a snowstorm like that. And we decided to split up and spread out a couple hundred yards and just work this basin that we saw some tracks in the day before, and I don't know what time it was, probably 10, 11 in the morning, not early, but it wasn't later in the day. And two bulls come up just naturally up right in front of me. They never saw me. I was just timber sneaking through the woods, and I was able to arrow one of the two bulls, young raghorn, dropped him, beautiful shot. Got really lucky, I would say, being that young and not much of a hunter yet. And I was pumped. We had two-way radios, so I radioed my dad as soon as I went up and touched the thing and knew that it was dead and had a lot of work to do. And radioed my dad, telling him I got my first bull with my bow, and he's like, "No way! I just shot a bull too." So we killed two bulls. It might have been within the same moment. We have no idea, obviously, because we weren't with each other and didn't have Onyx or anything at the time. So. Yeah, we killed two bulls. Luckily, not too far from the truck.
I was going to ask. One's enough work. You get two down at the same time.
It's probably 4 miles from the truck. Had to go up a hill and down. That same trip, actually, leapfrogging quarters, had a black bear grab one of my hind quarters and tried dragging it off. Almost killed a bear that day too, but knew how much work we still had to do. But that was pretty epic memory. He had killed an elk before with his bow, but that was my first archery bull. And pretty special moment to just have that happen. That was really cool.
For sure. And you said he's coming out here soon, right?
Well, he lives in Kalispell, up northwest Montana. We're going to meet up this weekend and fish the Missouri together.
That's right.
Yep.
That's what you're getting at. All right, I guess it's my turn. My old man, there he is. Like my dad, like
look at that,
he's definitely like the reason why I'm sitting in this seat right now. He's the reason why I became a fishing guide. Like it was just like hunting and fishing with him as a kid. Like learned a lot from him. Loved being out in the woods with him, and then like kind of got away from doing that kind of stuff together for a long time, and then after I moved out to Colorado and got into hunting, I kind of talked him in to start coming out to do some mule deer hunts, and it was super cool. And he got bucks pretty much every year he came out. I think he was 71 in this picture, so he probably started coming out like his mid 60s and shot some bucks. Nothing huge, but some decent bucks. This was, I think, in 2011. And he drew a third season rifle tag in Colorado. And since I knew he had drawn that tag, I wasn't going to hunt that season for a buck. I was just like focused on getting him a big one because, like I said, he's 71. And he got around pretty good, but, he's 71. So you just don't know how much more time he's got to do that kind of hunting. So I went into this area like a week before the season started. And like right off the bat, I glass up a bull elk. I'm like, shit, man, like we're supposed to be deer hunting next week, but I'm going to pick up an over-the-counter bull tag too. And we go in opening morning. We're glassing around. There's deer around, small bucks, nothing to shoot at. And I look up the ridge and there's 3 bulls working down the ridge. And I was like, peace out, Dad. I'm going after these bulls. And run up there and got in tight and shot a bull. So the next like day and a half was dealing with that bull, and my dad was kind of doing some hunting on the side, but it was warm and nothing happened. Then on like it would have been like day 4, maybe in the evening, we found this buck and just could not get it done that evening. It was too far away. There's a lot of does around. It was going to get dark. So we went right back in there the next morning and found him right away and made a move on him. And we ended up we almost screwed it up. Like we ended up real tight, like 70 yards. So my dad's just like offhand shot real quick and spined him. I was like, you got to shoot that deer again. But he's like on the ground, and you can't really get at his vitals. I've never seen a 71-year-old man run like 70 yards that fast, like in my life.
Oh, wow. And
he ran up to it, finished it off. And I was like, man, like you don't know what you just shot.
Yeah.
Like you have he'd shot some mule deer bucks, but nothing like that. I was like, I think this thing's over 200. Mm-hmm. And he still was like not convinced. And we pack it out and we get home and I take, like a 170 buck that I'd shot earlier in the year and set those antlers inside those antlers. I'm like, you get it now, like how big this thing is? And it ended up scoring like, I can't remember what it was, like 206 or 209 or something like that.
That's cool.
You can't really, this picture's not great. It's from back in the day when like digital cameras weren't that great. But he's got a couple stickers coming off his right side, and there's one off the back of his left side that you can't see.
Yeah.
Just a really cool old buck. And yeah, man, like every time I go back to Pennsylvania, I just stare at that thing. It's just an awesome deer.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Wow.
So it was kind of like you, Seth, where felt like I was like doing what he had done for me,
Yeah.
you know, later in life. So yeah, he still does a little hunting at home, but not as much as he used to. He's getting up there.
That's cool.
That is cool. Nice buck.
Yeah.
Big buck.
Big buck.
I'm ready for the fall. Let's go.
Okay. Speaking of Father's Day, we got to remind you that our MeatEater and First Light Father's Day sales are going on right now. So like we talked about gifts earlier, forget the ties, socks, golf clubs, like get on the MeatEater website, the First Light website, and get the dads in your life something they'll like. And if you don't know what to get them, then get them a gift card and they'll get what they want. And that's going on now through all the way through the weekend, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So check it out on the MeatEater website or the First Light website. There's some good deals going on right now.
Cool.
All right, now it's time to do the interview we were trying to get done a couple weeks ago. We're going to interview Josh Miller. He's a fishing guide from Western Washington. And I think he guides like salmon and steelhead in the rivers and also like coastal fisheries too out in the ocean.
That's my understanding. Yeah, let's find out. Though.
But he's got some of you may have seen him on Instagram. He's got a co-captain, which is Ryder the turkey. So do we got Josh on the line?
How's it going?
There he is.
Hey, Josh.
Hey, Josh.
How we doing, gentlemen?
Good.
Not as good as you, though. Where are you at?
Yeah.
I'm out in the Strait of Juan de Fuca fishing for halibut right now.
Oh, bud.
Nice.
Nice. First of all, tell us about your early bird guidance service. Like, what do you fish for? Where do you guys fish? What time of year? All that stuff. Give us a quick rundown.
So right now I'm doing raft trips. We do coastal tributaries and Columbia River tributaries. A lot of steelhead fishing, a lot of king fishing and coho fishing. I do spend the summers in Alaska fishing sockeye on the Kenai. So if you're interested in that, I can get you out in Kenai, Alaska for sockeye. And then the winter time, anytime after New Year's, is an awesome steelhead season. But yeah, year round, we're catching big chrome fish.
Nice. Well, we gotta ask. Like, you're pretty well known on the Instagram for your unusual first mate that happens to be a turkey. So like, how did the whole thing with bringing along the turkey and the boat get started?
Well, I got a bunch of them, these heritage birds to raise, and a weasel got into the coop, and long story short, there was only one left, and it was literally ride or die for the little guy. I was fishing the next day. So he had no choice. He had to go out on the boat as a little baby, and here we are 7 years later. He's got the program pretty well figured out. He's been on hundreds of trips, all sorts of fishing trips. I've had him with me on a mule deer hunt, and we harvested a mule deer.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Elk hunting, and I shot a cow elk with him following me through the woods.
Dude, you gotta watch out. Someone might take a crack at that turkey while you're hunting.
Right? I don't know. The way I look at it, he's lived such a good life. I don't think it can get any better for a turkey.
Right.
That's true.
If he goes out on the battlefield, then so be it.
There we go. So like people like to bring their dogs on boats, like I do it. Some dogs are like really annoying when you're fishing in a boat, and some are super chill. Where does Ryder fall on that scale? And like, does he react to fish being caught?
Oh yeah. when he hears drag pulling out of a reel, he starts ripping gobbles. Kind of that.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
That is awesome.
he definitely
That
knows
is-
what's going on and everything. And he's fun. He's got a lot of character. It's like having a dog and a cat at the same time. He's got a little bit of attitude, but most of the time he doesn't.
think of that, Ryder?
That is awesome.
That is excellent.
A ton of fun. Even when I'm pulling out of the driveway with the boat, he'll chase the truck down just because I'm towing the boat.
Yep. Do you got any clients that specifically request for that turkey to be in the boat with them?
All the time.
Yeah.
I bet.
I just say, as long as you tip the bird, I'll bring him.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Nice. You guys getting them today? Got any action? I know, unfortunately, he couldn't join today because you had some pretty rough seas out there.
Yeah, we got some rough water, and we got 4 people in the boat, so we decided to leave him at home today. We got out here about an hour and a half ago, and we've caught 3 dogfish, so little sharks. No halibut yet.
Well, keep at it. Now I don't want to upset you with this next question. I hope Ryder has a bunch more years of fishing ahead of him. But since we're here at MeatEater, we all love eating wild turkeys. So is there any chance that bird is going to end up on the table at Thanksgiving, or are you going to give him a proper burial at sea once his time is up?
Oh, I think he deserves a proper burial. I don't know about eating him. He's 7 years old. He probably
Nice.
It'd be tough.
Well, hopefully you got several more years with him in the boat with you.
It's always a fun time around Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I bet. I bet.
I've had him sit down at the table with us and gave him a plate of green beans.
Is he house trained or boat trained?
When he was younger, I used to have him where he would peck the door or the window to turn around and tell me to let him out. But I don't get to spend a ton of time with him anymore.
Yeah.
But for the most part, yeah, he's pretty well trained. Like, he'll wait a 2-hour car ride to the river, and then when I let him out, he'll do his business.
Nice.
But, yeah, he's a pretty smart bird.
That's cool.
Cool. Well, Josh, thanks for talking to us today. I hope you guys find some halibut out there, and hope you continue to have fun with your turkey fishing companion.
Yeah, all the best to Ryder.
Yeah.
Yeah, anytime. Happy to be on the show, guys.
All right. Thanks a lot, man.
All right, you guys take care.
You too.
Thanks, Josh. That is awesome.
That was cool.
Phil, we got time for some more feedback?
Yeah, we don't have a whole lot of feedback right now, but Robert asks Seth, if you remember, Seth, what kind of rifle did you use on the Texas deer hunt in Rough Cuts? Do you remember that hunt?
That rifle was so kind of funny backstory. I wasn't actually supposed to be hunting on that shoot. One thing led to another, and I ended up being on camera. So I actually didn't bring a rifle down there. I just went and grabbed. It was an old Remington 308. I don't even know exactly what it was, but I just grabbed it out of the gun safe at the ranch, and went and shot it to make sure it was shooting good, and that's what I took out. It was like an old wood stock thumb hole, like old schooly wood gun, which was kind of cool because I don't usually hunt with stuff like that.
Yeah, and you
anymore,
guys
so.
weren't taking particularly long
No,
shots.
it was all
either.
close stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was. I remember it was a Remington, but I don't remember exactly what it was.
Oscar asks, what is the smallest area of private land that you'd hunt turkeys? He says he has 10 acres in Michigan.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, 10 acres. You can get her down on 10 acres for sure.
Especially if they're roosting nearby, like on your land or nearby.
Yeah.
Call them in there. Yeah, sure, why not?
Remington asks, how old were you when you started hunting without your dad?
Man, I broke the law.
Yeah, same.
I think it was 14 in Pennsylvania you had to be
I think so,
to
yeah.
hunt alone, and the minimum hunting age back then was 12, and I was hunting alone when I was 12.
Yeah.
A lot.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, man, I probably would have been like 17 by the time I finally went out with a buddy. My dad was my hunting buddy growing
Yeah.
up, so it was pretty late. 17 probably.
It's weird to me to think about it now that I have my own kids, like a 13-year-old and a 10-year-old, and they can hunt at 10 in Montana. But like I don't know about you, Seth, but like I I would just go walk on the like all the neighboring farms all day, like just be gone all day.
Yeah, same.
And for me to think about letting my 13-year-old or my when my 10-year-old is 12 do it at that age, it's like kind of weird, but I feel like that's a problem with me, not a problem with them being able to go do it. If you like give them the confidence to go do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John asks, Brody, don't you think there should be a time limit on trivia questions?
Yes.
It depends if I'm having trouble with the question or it's someone
I was going to
else.
say, if whoever's sure of an answer, they want a time limit.
Yeah. But honestly, like often the conversations, the banter that happens while we're extending the time on those, it's pretty fun. I mean, it could get taken too far, obviously, because the more talk that goes on, the better the chance that something is given away and someone comes up with an answer you hope they would.
A time limit would ruin the energy of the show, because if it were too long and it was an easy question, then we're just sitting there. I guess if we all agreed we wanted to be done, we could move on. But like Brody said, just the flexibility.
I think maybe we could screw around with like a special edition of MeatEater where it's like a speed round, or maybe like
buzzers.
It's like you get 30 seconds and that's that. Like maybe we could screw around with
Randall
that.
is all caps in the chat saying yes on the time limit. There's too many hints
Randall
that
and Spencer
too
lurking
much chatter.
in the yeah.
Get out
Randall
of
just
here.
happened to lose a couple of times and now he's all bent out of shape.
He's no foul play, Randall says. Let's see, Oscar. We've got we already did Oscar. Did I start this? There was a comment, boys, 2 PA boys, about tactics for hunting deep woods in Pennsylvania for deer. It was a pretty general question.
Seth would know more about that than me. Like deer hunting in the big woods?
Yeah, it's all about.
Here we go. This is from Ethan.
It's kind of a lot. You got to work the land features in that big stuff because it's just, woods forever.
Yeah, I like up where I hunted Northwest PA. Like you're hunting small, like 100-acre chunks of private, and it's not like that. Big woods is like got some topography, man.
Yeah, like saddles and pin. Like if you can find pinch points, bottom stuff like that, and then find different cover types, white oak flats and stuff like that where they're feeding.
I do think you like. Knowing what I know now about Western hunting, I think there's some stuff you could apply to those big chunks of like mountainous public land in Pennsylvania and hunt like a Western hunter and like get in there a long ways and be willing to pack about a buck out on your back. Like there's something to be said for like hunting where other people aren't in Pennsylvania because a lot of it gets pretty crowded.
Yeah, I think topo map's your best friend and that kind of stuff.
Carrie asks, would you hunt a burn from last fall for mule deer or hunt away from the burn?
I think it depends on the burn a little bit.
I've hunted burns where it burnt in the summer and I was hunting it in October. And there was plenty of deer and elk in it.
Yeah, you better check it out.
Yeah, I mean, some burnt, like it was a real hot one where everything just gets to, like, the topsoil gets burnt. Probably pretty tough, but if it's a quick one and you get a bunch of new growth, definitely.
I was working on a fire back in my firefighting days one time. We're cutting a line in to try to hold this one fire from spreading, and out of nowhere, a whole herd of elk come out of the non-burn stuff and go right up into the fire. I was like, that's not going to work out great for them. But we never saw them again.
Yeah.
They got to deal with that stuff every year.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Cool.
It's a good round of questions.
Thanks,
We
everybody.
can go and wrap it up there.
Yeah.
Sure. All right, folks, that's the end of today's show. Happy Father's Day to everyone. Have a great weekend. Get outside and do something fun. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.
Tune in next week.